G'day everybody, welcome back to Wanderstop. Hope you guys are doing well. In the previous episode, goodness me, we have all of these corporate types just multiplying everywhere. We've got Jerry, Terry, and Larry, and we've suddenly got this strange entity named Zenith in our midst, and it seems to really like all of these corporate people for whatever reason, and is kind of intrigued about coffee as well, but you know, we don't really have coffee. We've offered her tea, and she said, well, it's not a she, it said that it would probably appreciate some tea, but a tea that has some kind of value, so it wants us to put something valuable in the tea itself. Don't know what to make of that, but we could probably make an interpretation of what is valuable. Anyway, let's have a chat with Borrow before we begin. Hey, did you see the magical space being that showed up? Their name is Zenith, and they said they came on the Infinite Path. Have you ever heard of that? Goodness me, no. Borrow has never heard of such a thing. Although over the years I have seen a handful of otherworldly beings make their way to the shop. It is always such a treat when it happens. They are the most fascinating sources of knowledge. If you're learning of any extra dimensional tea recipes from our new friend, please do be letting me know. Okay, I have no idea if we'll actually be able to learn new tea recipes that way, but something of value. I mean, we can try and find like trinkets and stuff like that that would be considered to be valuable, but that would involve us sort of doing a lot of weed cutting, cleaning up leaves, and trying our best to find those trinkets, which at the moment there's not really a lot of that to do. I mean, I do see a few thorns right here, or a few weeds. Can cut these, but yeah, it's not gonna guarantee us like valuable things. Let me just have a look at the field guide. What type of mushrooms do we have access to? Gift shroom. Causes the large hybrid to produce trinkets instead of fruits. That might not be a bad thing to do, and therefore we can, you know, start getting trinkets, and perhaps maybe one of those trinkets might be valuable, perhaps. But I don't think there is any right answer to this particular brew of tea. But we can try our best, right? Who knows? Alright, so let's do 3 of these. And yeah, I'll just, you know, convert this one. I know we converted it from the original color to this color, but that's fine. Oh, hang on. Is that even the right one? Maybe not. Trinkets instead of fruit. Oh no, I picked dupe shrooms. My bad. Okay. Which means that we're probably going to need to grow something else that's going to give us, like, trinkets. Okay. Well, that's fine. We'll do that. Oh, God. Alright. Ooh. Well, I'll take that. And this, we'll go ahead and hide that somewhere. People don't need to know. But I was sort of thinking between episodes, guys, that perhaps maybe it might not be such a bad idea for us to potentially utilize some of those random pictures that we've been making and just throwing everything into tea and some hot water and trying to replicate what Borrow mentioned to us about you know, making like a brown looking, like, I don't want to call it sludge, but brown looking water that would resemble coffee. Perhaps maybe we might be able to serve that up to, was it Jerry? And maybe he might like it? Who knows? We could give it a go. I mean, because that was the only clue, really, that we had from Borrow. Okay, so, yeah, gonna try and look for the trinket shrooms, or the gift shrooms. Hopefully we can find them. I think I see... yeah, this should be a couple here. I just need one more. Okay, shrooms. Yeah, trying to be on top of all of the weeds as well. Try not to let it get away from us this time. Though I think the rate of growth in this version of the clearing isn't so bad, so I don't think we really need to worry too much. There's another one. Okay, so now we just need to make our way back. We are finding some very interesting looking cups, aren't we? Do need to wash most of them. I'm looking for the trellis garden. Might be on the other side, actually. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, give us some trinkets, so we get cups from it. Great, I guess. I've got too many cups now, so I'm gonna need to do something about that. Let's just duck into the shop, and we've got plenty of dirty cups, apparently. Alright, so we should have plenty of interesting cups to come. Let's also throw this in there as well. And I just need to keep watering the trinket tree that we've made. What the hell is that? Is that a cup? Must be some kind of a trinket. What is it? It looks like a bowl filled with like shards of red glass, maybe, I don't know if they're perhaps crystals or gems or some kind. But anyway, let's see what else we can potentially get. Another cup. And that's it, really. Okay. I guess I could keep going to try and get some more, like, trinkets that way, but I don't know if I really want to do that. It is time-consuming. Oh, God. He's bringing home the things that we don't really want. Yeah, anyway. So, out of all of the trinkets that we have, I think this one looks potentially valuable. So we can maybe make some tea with that. But I might also throw some fruit in there. And I'm sort of trying to think of what fruit might be of value, right? Messberry, the taste that is impossible to quite place. Could be. I mean, this thing is like all like, well, I was gonna say all-knowing entity, but probably not. A spacefaring entity. Perhaps maybe he's never, or it's never tasted messberry before. Vapor sprouts, awestruck amazement at the vastness of nature. I think that's pretty valuable. A time of innocence. I think innocence is valuable. Breakfast as a child. I don't know about that one. Ice cream. Eating this gives one the sensation of being in higher social standing than they actually are. Okay, I didn't really realize that. Confess their mistakes. Taste like apricots. Compels one to use the word triangle. Fills one's head with utterly fabricated names of popular songs. Ooh. Tough choice, but I think I'm gonna go with the vapor sprout. I think they might appreciate that. So let's get ourselves a vapor sprout. There we go. Do we have tea bowls? Yes, we do. Alright, so let's get to it. And then after this, I might give that next brew a try that I just mentioned. We're just going to try and make a brown brew. Throw like a whole bunch of stuff in there. I'm thinking of even dumping like some of the like plain cups that we have. The ones that we normally have for the shop every time we, you know, I guess arrive at the shop. The really plain looking ones. Okay, so a little bit of tea, a little bit of vapor sprout. And I think that's all we need. So... oh, actually, sorry, we do want the trinket, don't we? This one. Yeah, perhaps maybe that might be valuable, who knows? Just gonna be trial and error. Oh, yes, there's soup as well. I'm sort of keeping that just in case someone might want some soup. Okay, let's grab a cup. Maybe gonna keep this one for the brown brew that we're going to make. Okay. Now, where's Zenith? Over there. Let's see what they think about it. Here you go. We will now consume the tea. Yes. Interesting. Interesting. The taste of this tea, how fascinating. We can sense that there is a delightful object within the tea. An enjoyable trinket, an amusement, a decoration. Trinket. We feel too that it is of value to you, to others, and you have parted with it. for the sake of our tea, yes? A gift. So we sense your generosity in preparing such a drink. For this we are most grateful. Tea truly is a substance of magic. Magic. Please, we must know, is tea superior to coffee? Better than coffee? If I were to answer this with personal preference, maybe coffee's better. So I could answer that way, but I think I might say yes, it's better than coffee, just for the fact that we might be able to serve more tea as a result. But coffee is similar to tea, yes? It is brewed with water. Drinks. Yeah, I suppose that's true. The men of business, they have spoken to us many times about coffee. Many times. They seek it. They crave it. They cannot find it. Tragic. But your shop of tea, it is perhaps the perfect opportunity to make coffee. Please tell us, what would be necessary to produce coffee? I guess, coffee beans? Coffee beans! Yes, of course, it is so obvious. We see it now. Coffee beans. What magic is needed for this? How shall it be produced? We are channeling the infinite path for answers. Ah, indeed. We can see it now, the essence of coffee beans, clear in our mind. We are summoning it into this forest, right here. We are imbuing this clearing with the essence of coffee beans. Deepest essence. Here it is. Oh, what? Okay, well, my whole plan has just been thrown out the window. We are going to be making coffee, folks. So, it has come to pass. A coffee bean success. Yes, your clearing will now surely grow wild with coffee beans. May they bless your shop for 1 trillion spectracycles. Trillions. So then, how do I actually use them to make coffee? We are receiving information on this matter from the infinite path. Receiving. We are considering how best to teach it to you. Here, just write it down in my field guide. Ah, a well-engineered solution. We find this acceptable. Field guide. Okay, the coffee plants will grow around the clearing. Simply approach one and pick the coffee bean out of the center. Only one bean will spawn per plant. Coffee beans come right out of the ground, so they're quite dirty. Be sure to run each bean through the dishwasher before making coffee with it. After the bean is washed, toss it into the tea infuser, just like you would with other ingredients. The brew will turn into coffee. Yeah. But, I mean, how do we grow more, though? That's what I want to know. We wish you a successful effort to make coffee. Blessings. May our precious men of business at last be satisfied. Men. I still don't understand why you like them so much. Truly? To us, it is most blindingly obvious. Apparent. They are individually different, yet they speak with one voice. Are they a collective entity like us? Or are they separate consciousnesses? Collective? It is the question that we are intrigued by, delighted by. Yes. To be delighted is the greatest of joys. The greatest. Okay, well, I'll try to make them a decent coffee. There you go. Okay, so we've got to find this coffee bean. It must be out there somewhere. Or I wonder if we can find multiple. That cutscene that we had showing the bean growing didn't really make it very obvious where it was. But it must be somewhere in the clearing. I think the only clue that I can go by is that it looked kind of dark. Kind of like tucked away in the shadows somewhere. So maybe not this side. Oh, and I'm thinking of maybe using a shrink shroom, or 3 shrink shrooms, to try and shrink the trinket plant that we had, and maybe we can just simply pot that. Another pot. Got a lot of pots, to be honest. Probably. Oh my god. Oh, that's so bad. Depending on how long we stay in this version of the clearing, I might just make a brew simply to delete a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, where is this coffee? I feel like I've done a lap around the clearing. I don't really see it. Oh, hang on. Here it is. Hey. Okay. So, let's grab it. Can I plant it, though? Doesn't look like I can plant it. So, perhaps maybe I can only make, like, 1 batch of coffee. So it's going to have to go to the 3 corporate types, and I don't know, maybe I might even give some to Borrow and see what he thinks about coffee. Oh, he has something to say to us here. Hello, Miss Alter. Borrow has a thought of a task that you might enjoy. This task involves something dear to my heart. The puffins are wonderful little bird friends. You've seen them roaming about, yes? Did you know that you can be feeding them tea? They are quite loving of the stuff. In fact, they will even change colors to whatever the color of tea you serve them, like magic. Please note that it is not actually magic, this is simply being normal puffin biology. So perhaps you'd like to feed tea to our puffin friends here? If you're giving several of them some tea, it would make our animal friends delightfully colored. Or colorful. Will they die if I don't feed them? Goodness, no. Puffins are being just about the most indestructible creatures in the universe. There's barely a soul alive who's ever actually witnessed a puffin die. It is the stuff of myth and mystery. No feeding them is merely for our enjoyment and theirs. They seem to enjoy the taste. What do you say? Does this sound like a task you'd care to take on? Sure, we'll do it. Wonderful. To be giving a puffin tea, all you must do is place a teacup on the ground next to the puffin. The smell alone is surely enough to draw them over for a drink. Once you've served tea to 5 of them, won't you please come speak with me? No worries, we'll do that. I'm not entirely sure about doing that in this episode, but, you know, we'll definitely try and do it, though. We do have a candle. I do like candles, and I reckon I should just place candles down in the shop. And yeah, we've got a lot of junk here. I've got hue shrooms, shrink shrooms, Should I... Yeah, maybe I should use the shrink shroom first. Get the plant out of the... Oh! There's more coffee. Ah! Very good. Okay, so our coffee is not exactly limited. That's really good to know. Yeah, to think that I had some difficulty finding the coffee before, but I guess maybe the coffee grows a little closer to the shop. At least that's what I've noticed. And let's get you moved, and we may as well chuck this one in one of the hanging pots. I think that looks alright. Right, time to brew some coffee. What do we have here? Some kind of a picture frame. Not exactly a picture in it, though. Decorative frame. Chuck it there. Okay, coffee. Let's do it. I'm gonna do like a really big batch because, you know, potentially all of them want some coffee. And when we have one person getting some coffee, perhaps maybe... Oh, okay, that's a lot of water. I didn't know you could fill it up that much. Can we make it overflow? No, you can't. But yeah, this is the first time we're making such a big batch. Everyone's gonna get coffee today. Oh, you know what, guys? I've almost forgotten, but we do need to pass the coffee through the dishwashing train. Because otherwise, yeah, people are going to be upset with, like, dirty coffee. So while we're waiting for that, I might as well just pick some more. There we go. I guess you can run anything through the trains, or is it just only some specific things? And I suppose that also roasts the coffee as well. Excuse me? Where's my coffee? Oh. There it is, yeah. It's not as quick as I thought. Borrow has something else to say to us. Miss Alta, Borrow has noticed that there is coffee growing right here in our clearing. Yeah, Zenith spawned it to serve to the businessman. My goodness, what an improbable delight. I did not even know it was being possible. Although I will say coffee has never exactly been Borrow's cup of tea. You don't seem like a coffee guy. You are very much correct. Borrow is not being much of a get-up-and-go person. Oh dear. Now that we serve coffee, will Wanderstop have to rebrand? No, I can't be doing it. We are simply a tea shop that sometimes has coffee. Don't worry about it, I'll handle the coffee. Ah, now that is what I am liking to hear. As always, Borrow is going to put off learning any new or useful skills for as long as possible. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that sentiment. It's always good to learn some new skills. Alright. Let's do our coffee. And I don't really want to throw anything else in there. But presumably, maybe I could throw like different fruits and stuff, and maybe that might actually flavor the coffee somewhat. Could be. Yeah, look at that. Heaps and heaps of coffee. So, let's start with Jerry, who's been hanging around for a very long time for his coffee. Perfect. It'd be really annoying if all of them had left already, after all of that. Okay. Jerry, you have brought coffee? This is coffee. I am glad to have coffee at this time. The coffee will better enable me to deliver my presentation to the board. This presentation will be the first I have ever delivered. It is important that I made a positive impression. May I present it to you now, to practice? Sure, go ahead. Good, I will now present it. My presentation is entitled Conflict Resolution in the Workplace. All of us have experienced conflict. Some have done so dozens or even tens of thousands of times. Yet a fundamental question must be asked. What is conflict in the workplace and where does it come from? This is the question I will answer in my presentation. May I inquire, how is my presentation thus far? You should lighten the mood a little bit with some jokes. Understood, I will do so. What is conflict in the workplace and where does it come from? There are three primary sources of conflict in the workplace: litter, resentment, and corn product. Of these three, litter is the only one over which we have any real control. Therefore, remember to litter on your co-workers' desks only when absolutely necessary. When conflict arises, all employees are encouraged to document it in their conflict journal. Conflict journal? Remember to record names, dates, and specific swear words used in the conflict. Remember to embellish details of the conflict only in places where it makes the conflict more entertaining. At this time, we will pause for a joke. Why didn't the submarine need to rest? Because it was not tired. The nature of this joke is that certain vehicles have tires. However, a submarine is not one. Tired, in this sense, can refer to both the submarine's energy level or the number of tires it has. In fact, a submarine is a submersible watercraft which uses ballast tanks and jet propulsion to enable movement. Therefore, tires on a submarine would be irrelevant. This concludes the joke. We will now resume the presentation. After filling an entry in the conflict journal, remember to inform your conflict manager that you have done so. However, do not discuss the specifics of the conflict with your conflict manager. If the conflict manager asks for specifics of the conflict, you must reply only in vague grunts and shrugs. The conflict manager may begin crying and begging you to share details of the conflict, groveling on hands and knees. What kind of company does this guy work for? The conflict manager may promise to open up about their own deepest secrets if only you share the conflict details. The conflict manager may offer you $20. In all of these cases, you are permitted only to roll your eyes and say, "It's just, I don't know, I don't wanna." Alternatively, you may fake a disease in order to leave the room. Do not look the conflict manager in the eyes. You may accept the $20, you may not discuss the details of the conflict. At no time are you permitted to learn your conflict manager's real name. We will now pause for a joke. How many kinds of fish are there? 11. Excuse me, my mistake. This was a statement of fact about fish and not a joke. I will correct this mistake when I deliver my presentation to the board. This now concludes the presentation. Thank you for allowing me to practice. I feel more prepared than before. As a show of thanks, I would like to offer you this picture of my own conflict manager. Sure. I bet it's just like a picture of either Terry or Larry. I hope your conflict manager is as benevolent as my own. Benevolent? Oh, it's just a picture of his presentation. Goodness me. What the hell? I don't know how I feel about, like, hanging that one up. Alright, well, now that the coffee issue has been resolved, we should be able... Well, other people don't seem to be interested in having coffees or anything. I might actually give a cup to Borrow, because I want to see his reaction to coffee. So let's quickly do that now. Borrow, there you go. Why, Miss Alter, have you brought Borrow a cup of tea? Yep, this is for you. Wonderful. Well, 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 if it isn't a cup of good old-fashioned coffee. Miss Alta, did I tell you that I tried making coffee here at Wanderstop many years ago? I was attempting to keep up with the trends, yes, the popular types of drinks. At the time, a shop was seen as quite unfashionable if it was not serving coffee. But oh dear, Borrow simply could not produce a decent cup of coffee for the life of me. Coffee is simply not being my sensibility, I'm afraid. I will tell you, miss, this was a very difficult lesson for Borrow to accept. I tried for much longer than I should have to be forcing myself to make coffee, and when I finally gave up and accepted that this is simply a tea shop, goodness, what a weight lifted from Borrow's shoulders. Yes, so obvious now in hindsight, how silly. But it seems coffee has returned to us. Like a wandering cat, it has come back home. And can I say, you've done a fine job of it. It's just that coffee is not being to my taste. Yes, I will leave the coffee preparation to you. No need to go relearning my big lesson. Alright. Well, he doesn't really like coffee that much. He didn't, you know, absolutely spit it out in disgust or anything like that. So we've got obviously various people who said that they were waiting for coffee. I know we don't have any, like, icons above their heads or anything like that, but I might try to bring a cup of coffee out there to them and see what happens. And another thing that we could test out is whether or not we can make some soup. Because we do have a can of soup, obviously. Oh, a lot of people want to speak to us, apparently. But can I just simply bring a cup? Nope. Okay. Well, we can drink it ourselves. I'm actually kind of curious about what happens if we do that.
Coffee means early mornings, long days, rigorous training. It flips a switch in me. Starts a motor running that can go for a long, long time. It doesn't make me better at my training. It just puts me into a headspace. And yet, here I am. I'm drinking coffee. And I just don't feel anything. I can't summon that fire. Is that good? Is it bad? I don't know. God. I just want things to stop changing.
Interesting take there on coffee, and I never thought of putting it in those words that, you know, it has the ability to, you know, flip a switch in you get your engines running, put you in the right headspace. I like that, actually, because, you know, I'm definitely a big coffee drinker myself. I don't really drink as much tea as I do coffee. But yeah, I think it makes sense. I feel like, you know, something's missing if I don't have like a coffee in the morning. And I mean, for some people, you know, the whole digestive system needs coffee as well. It definitely doesn't look like we can give more coffee to anyone else, or perhaps maybe a lot of these people are now asking for coffee. Maybe I should speak to them. Let me have a chat. But I do want to, you know, get started with the task of, you know, giving various teas and stuff to the Pluffins. Maybe even coffee to the Pluffins. Who knows what will happen if we do that. Ah, Larry. Hello. I have seen it. You serve coffee to Jerry. I require coffee in order to deliver my presentation. Therefore, I would like coffee. Okay, what kind of coffee do you want? Regular coffee. Nothing else? You don't want, like, a flavor or something? I do not require flavor, I only require coffee. No, I'm not just gonna sit here and make you guys the exact same thing over and over. I'll go out of my mind with boredom. I need you to give me a more interesting coffee order. That's the new rule. You're not allowed to order regular coffee. So what's it gonna be? I typically just have regular coffee. Well then I guess you're gonna typically just have it somewhere else. So, are you gonna give me an order or not? Come on, say something. And it cannot be regular coffee? No. Sometimes at the office I will forget to drink my coffee and it will become cold. There are times when I enjoy the coffee in this condition. Cold. That is my order. Cold coffee. Well, okay, sure. I guess it's different than what I usually do. I'll just make coffee like normal, but without adding any heat. Very good. Okay, well, that kind of presents us with a little bit of a problem here, because we've got a really big batch of coffee, which I would like to use, you know, and not waste. Actually, we have one more person who we can talk to about the coffee, right? Maybe we can do something with him. Although we're refusing to give out like regular coffees, so maybe I don't even have the option to give like a regular coffee anymore. So what I'm gonna do is, I think this is going to be the last cup of coffee from this batch, and then we're going to just, you know, drain out the batch. But I'll give one of these to the Pluffins. If I can actually find the Pluffins. And yeah, we're gonna continue to give, you know, more tea and stuff to the Pluffins, obviously, but let's drop that. Yeah, they seem to like coffee as well. Does it change color? It looks like the same color as before. Perhaps maybe that's the standard. Oh, actually, no. It looks more businessy, this one. I think so. He looks like he's wearing a business suit. Good little Pluffin. Alright. Let's grab that. Whoops. Wrong tool. Zenith wants another chat. We will have a chat shortly. So, cold coffee. I was sort of hoping that we could just simply pour a cup and then just leave it out for a while, but I think it stays hot forever. So we're going to have to redo the brew. And we're just going to not heat it up. as per the instructions. I mean, I'm not entirely sure about just like room temperature coffee, although, you know, I've had my fair share. It's not the greatest. I'd much prefer like an iced coffee compared to room temperature, that is. On the right day, obviously. I probably need actual coffee. So let's grab some. Oh, making a lot of noises there. I wonder if it's following me now that we've given it some coffee. Oh, hang on. Stash that away. Yeah, and then we should be able to just simply move that across. Wait a sec. Hang on, did I? Sorry. I may have heated that up. Sorry, my brain's going on autopilot there. Let me just pour all of that out and start again. Yeah, look at that. So we're getting more and more flowers the more wasted drink we pour down the drain, which is kind of cool. But yeah, let's do a batch and not worry about heating it. And then we should be able to get the coffee in. Okay. Room temp coffee coming right up. Now, where is he? Larry? Here's your coffee. This is cold coffee. I am glad to have cold coffee at this time. It is exactly the taste of coffee that has been sitting on my desk all day. This is a good taste. I care very much for this taste. As a result of this positive association with coffee, I am more confident in my presentational abilities. At this time, I would like to show you the presentation that I have prepared for the board. Doing so would further heighten my confidence in my abilities. Sure, go for it. Good. I will now deliver my presentation. There will be a segment at the end for notes and feedback. Good day to all of you who are here in the boardroom. I am Larry. This is my presentation. My presentation is titled Third Quarter Growth Relative to Other Quarters with Less Growth. I have some feedback on the title. Yes? Make it rhyme. Placed in order, first comes third quarter, other quarters' gains are shorter. Pretty good. Pretty good. Now then, let us begin by discussing company profits. Company profit in the third quarter looked like this. For the purpose of clarity, I have removed portions of the timeline where profits declined. Next, let us compare it to a different quarter's profits. For the purpose of clarity, I drew this graph as a straight line from left to right. Now let us put the two graphs on top of each other. The results are self-evident. This concludes the presentation. Thank you. We learned absolutely nothing from that, but we will now begin the notes and feedback portion of the presentation. Please begin. Can I see the second graph again? Make the line thicker. Interesting. I will try that. Ah yes, you are quite correct. This is much more impactful. This concludes the notes and feedback portion of the presentation. Thank you. As anticipated, my confidence in myself as a presenter has risen considerably. I am carrying this poster which reflects the above average nature of my self-confidence. You may keep it if you wish. Sure. I hope that your confidence is similarly elevated as reflected in this poster. Oh lord. Okay, what are we gonna do with all of this, like, useful pictures and stuff that we have? I think it's time to just quickly do a purge, or do we even care? I mean, I probably don't even need to bother, to be honest, but... why not? Let's do a quick purge of stuff that we don't need. Because that was the initial plan anyway, to try and make some coffee. Now that we actually have access to coffee beans, that didn't really come to fruition, did it? So I probably don't even need to boil this thing. I could probably just throw stuff in and it'll disappear. Okay, let's gather up all of the things that we don't need. So we got all these photos that we don't need. We'll grab the other ones as well. I'm thinking of getting rid of some cups as well. Got a whole bunch of, like, uninteresting cups, which I think can go into the hot water. Okay, we've already got too many cups apparently. There we go. One very cup-focused brew. Nice. And all these photos. Perfect. Does this translate to any specific tea? Probably not. It looks like water to me. I'm just gonna pour it out. Alright, well, with that, I mean, we do have the other guy, what was his name? Terry, perhaps, who probably wants some more coffee as well. I will get to him, but we probably don't need to rush into that. I'm more interested in trying to give some teas to our Pluffin friends. But the question is, what kind of tea? So I figure we haven't done a tasting of two types of fruits. So the ghost fruit, and we've also not done a tasting of the blue loops. So I think we should make those two teas and give it to the Pluffins. So that'll be obviously 3 out of 5. And yeah, we can obviously serve more coffee a little bit later, but we'll mix things up. So let's grab some... do we have a tea ball? Oh, we do have a tea ball. We are running out of tea though, so we might need to fetch some tea leaves sometime soon. But yeah, let's get this brewed. And I'll do a relatively bigger batch because, you know, we are going to need to taste it ourselves. Okay, blue loop tea coming right up. Maybe the tea bowl should go in first, though. Whoops. Right, let's pick up an interesting cup. Nice. Okay, and there should be plenty for our own tasting when the time comes, but let's just serve up one to a pluffin. Ooh, hang on. What's going on here? Can you mail random things? Like, can I just simply mail a cup of tea? Maybe. I'm curious now, but maybe I might try that in the next episode. Let's just focus on giving tea to one of these guys. So he's going to just transform completely into blue. But I think they might all be blue-ish, right? I think he's a bit more of a brighter blue as a result of the tea. Which I don't mind. Let's head back. And just gonna quickly drop this teacup for washing. And that might be the episode for now, guys. I'll probably take a break here. When we come back, we'll continue giving some more tea to the pluffins. And we'll obviously have a taste of the tea that we've just made. See, you know, how we feel about that. We'll make some more coffee. We'll have another chat with Zenith, see what it wants. And perhaps maybe things might progress from there. I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. As usual, drop me a like if you did. Stay true, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.